We have a distinguished guest with us this evening, someone Ray himself wishes to introduce.
Thank you, everybody. Tonight, rather a special occasion for me. I have a great friend here. Possibly one of the most admired men in America. One of the greatest band leaders, certainly, and a very great friend of mine. And we just played his theme song. I think you've all recognized it, it's Sleep. And the fellow who owns it is Fred Whaling. And I want you to give him a great hand. He's here tonight.
I have never been so embarrassed in my life. Here I am at a perfume program, and I don't use perfume. So that's very, very sweet of you, Ray. I like that you've said that I'm a good friend of yours, and I feel as though I want to be a good friend of yours. I know everyone in America does. You've done such a wonderful job coming over here and getting a bunch of strange musicians and playing such beautiful music, and I know that we all welcome you and wish you great success.
Thanks, Fred. There's one thing I'd like you to do. The next number we're going to play is a very old number, about 15 years old, and it's called Stagger Lee Blues. And I'd like Fred to tell you how he discovered it, because it really is this tune.
Stagger Lee Blues. Well, now, this is another surprise. Stagger Lee Blues we found out in Denver. I believe that it was originally written by a prisoner, though I'm not certain, in a prison of Denver. And I believe there's something like 30 or 40 choruses which cannot be sung, but so we played them. So you go ahead and do the picture.
Okay, Fred. Here we go.
The night was clear and the moon was yellow and the leaves came tumbling down. I was standing on the corner when I heard my bulldog bark. He was barking at the two men who were gambling in the dark. It was Stagger Lee and Billy, two men who gamble late. Stagger Lee threw 7, Billy swore that he threw 8. Look here. Stagger Lee told Billy, said, I can't let you get away with that. You won all my money and my brand new Stetson hat. Stagger Lee, he ran home, went and got don't nobody boo-boo, 'cause I got my 44. Stagger Lee cried Billy Lion, and he shot the poor boy so fast. The bullet went through Billy, but it broke the bar in his glass. Then Billy Lion started to screaming. I heard him say, Stagger Lee, don't take my life. You know I got 2 little children, a poor little sickly wife.
What I care about 2 little beds and a darling loving wife? You done stole my Stetson hat, so I'm gonna take your life. Or the bad man, cruel Stagger Lee.
The high sheriff asked the deputy, how can it be you can arrest everybody but the mean old Stagger Lee? He's a bad man, that mean old Stagger Lee.
Well, the barkeeper said, yeah, I heard your name down the way, and I kick motherfucking asses like you every day, Mr. Stagger Lee. Well, those were the last words that the barkeep said, 'cause Stag put 4 holes in his motherfucking head.
Tell me how can this be? You arrest the girls for turning tricks, but you're scared of Stagger Lee. Stagger Lee is a mad man, and he shot my Billy Dean. Bio, go get him, or give the job to me. Sweet dear deep. How the hell can I arrest him? He's twice as big as me. Well, don't ask me to go downtown, I won't come back alive. Not only is that mother big, he packs a 45. Just give me a gun. He shot my Billy dead. Now I'm gonna see him hung. She waited to the Lions Club through Billy the Lion's blood. Stepped up to Stagger Lee at the bar, said, buy me a gin for his love. As Stagger Lee lit a cigarette, she shot him in the bones, blew the smoke off of her revolver, had him dragged to City Hall.
Gentlemen of the jury, what do you think of that? Stagger Lee killed Billy DeLion's about a $5 Stetson hat. That bad man, oh cruel Stagger Lee.
Staying on the gallows, head way up high. 12 o'clock they killed that boy. So glad to see him die. He was a bad man, cruel Stagger Lee.
Somebody tripped that scaffold and old Stack went down below. But when the devil seen him a-coming, he says, I hate that rascal so. We don't need him down here. Stack grabbed the devil by the collar and he threw him up on the shelf. Said, get out of here, you son of a gun, I'll run this place myself. I'm that bad man. They call me Stagger Lee.
Stagger Lee was a bad man. They goes down in the coal mine one night. Robbed the coal mine. There's gambling down there. And they placed themselves just like they wanted to be, so they wouldn't hit each other when they were shooting. Money lying all over the floor. There's one bad guy down there. He thought he was. That's Billy the Lion. So he had a big 45 laying down by the side of him. When they got placed, why, Stagger Lee spoke to him. He says, boys, look at the money lying down here on the floor. Says, what would we do if Stagger Lee and them was to walk in here? This guy picked up his 45. He says, I wouldn't make a bit of difference. Says, Stag's gun won't shoot a bit harder than this one. About that time, Stag knocked his hat off. And his partner, taking care of the rest. When he knocked his hat off, he kind of remembered that was Stagger Lee. And he come as begging like this.
Stagger Lee and Billy, two men who gambled eight. Stagger Lee drove 7, Billy swore that he drove 8. Brakes! Wrong in boy, you start all over again, huh? Why do you try to cheat in such a small game? Don't you know it was wrong to cheat the trying man? Don't you know it was wrong to cheat the trying man? Don't you know it was wrong to cheat the trying man? Don't you know it was wrong to cheat the trying man?
The very earliest known mention of a song about Stagger Lee was on August 21st, 1897, in the Kansas City Leavenworth Herald. It said, "It is understood that Professor Charlie Lee, the piano thumper, will play Stagger Lee in variations at the Kansas City Negro Press Association." By 1910, multiple academic folklorists had noted that dozens of variations of a song about Stagger Lee were circulating, and they began collecting the variants and publishing papers about them in academic journals. In 1973, a graduate student at St. Louis University by the name of Russell David interviewed an octogenarian about the song, and the man said, "Oh yes, I remember Lee Shelton." In that moment, David became the first academic to figure out what hundreds of St. Louis natives already knew. Stagger Lee's real name was Lee Shelton of St. Louis. Since then, scholars have found contemporaneous newspaper reports of Lee Shelton killing Billy Lyons, as well as the original arrest warrant, court records, prison records, and both Stag's and Billy's death certificates. We now know the real story of Stagger Lee. We even know the address of the bar where the murder took place and Stagger Lee's home address. The building is still there. Lee Shelton was born on the bayou in eastern Texas on March 16, 1865, 10 weeks before the Civil War ended. About 15 years later, he moved up the river to St. Louis to find a better life, away from the extreme racism of the South. At the time, St. Louis was the 4th largest city in America. Ironically, Lee Shelton was a petite man. He was 5 feet 7 inches tall and weighed about 120 pounds. His official job was a carriage driver. He would pick up businessmen at St. Louis's new Union Station, which at the time was the largest train station in the world. He would then hook them up with whatever they needed: hotel rooms, bars, gambling, prostitutes, opium, you name it. By the time he was 30 years old, in 1895, Stagger Lee was an officer of St. Louis's 400 Club. Stagg felt Republicans weren't doing anything to further the cause of black people. Democrats were courting the black vote, and Stagger Lee was among the early blacks to support the Democratic Party. In 1895, Billy Lyon was 25 years old. He wasn't married, but he did have 3 little kids. He was a big, burly man. He was known to be dangerous with his knife, and many people considered him a bully. And Billy was a Democrat. Here's what a reporter from the St. Louis Globe-Democrat said the day after the murder. William Lyons, 25, a levee hand, was shot in the abdomen yesterday evening at 10 o'clock in the saloon of Bill Curtis at 11th and Morgan Streets by Lee Sheldon, a carriage driver. Lyons and Sheldon were friends and were talking together. Both parties, it seems, had been drinking and were feeling in exuberant spirits. The discussion drifted to politics, and an argument was started, the conclusion of which was that Lyons snatched Sheldon's hat from his head. The latter indignantly demanded its return. Lyons refused, and Sheldon withdrew his revolver and shot Lyons in the abdomen. When his victim fell to the floor, Sheldon took his hat from the hand of the wounded man and coolly walked away. He was subsequently arrested and locked up at the Chestnut Street station. Lyons was taken to the dispensary, where his wounds were pronounced serious. Lee Sheldon is also known as Stagger Lee. At the time, the police were inclined to ignore black-on-black crime, but Billy's family demanded justice, and the community was outraged by the cold-blooded murder taking place in full view. Stagger Lee was arrested. He didn't resist. Back then, the court system had no problem swiftly hanging black murderers. But Stagger Lee had resources, both money and connections in the Democratic Party. He retained Nathaniel Dryden, arguably the best criminal defense attorney in the state. He posted bail. His original trial ended in a hung jury, but he was eventually sentenced to 30 years in the state prison in Jefferson City for second-degree murder. 15 years later, Governor Joseph Wingate Folk commuted the remainder of Stagger Lee's sentence, and he was set free. Stagger Lee died of tuberculosis on March the 11th, 1912. According to his death certificate, he weighed 102 pounds.
I wasn't there, but I did hear the shots, and by the time I arrived, the place was crawling with cops. Though I did see old Stagger Lee out back of the motel, all alone in his car, where a round meal pie sneaked past the graveyard. All that got down Stagger Lee. So I stayed out of sight until he rolled away. I don't need nobody thinking that I saw a thing, oh, especially not Stagger Lee. Shot fired, all one man dead. There was no fight, not one word said. He's a bad man, Stagger Lee. So this story done been told time and time again. Same old means, same old end, same old Stagger